Welcome to my channel BBC Rare Coins. Ever held a piece of American history in your pocket? Moneybag the Washington Quarter isn't just spare change. It's a story of presidents, patriotism, and powerful design. Let's start. Top 1. It looks like an ordinary coin. But what if I told you this little silver disc could be worth more than $83,000? Today, we're uncovering the story behind one of the most valuable and rarest Washington quarter dollars ever struck in U.S. history, the legendary 1964 Washington quarter that turned heads across the numismatic world in the early 1960s. America was on the brink of major change. Silver prices were rising. Coin collectors and everyday citizens were hoarding coins. The U.S. Mint had no choice but to rethink its production. But in 1964, quarters were still struck in 90% silver, a practice that was about to end forever. Enter the 1964 Washington quarter. Most of these coins are common. Millions were minted. But a few mysterious quarters from that year are anything but ordinary. What makes them so valuable? In the world of rare coins, it's not just age or silver content that creates value. It's minting errors, ultra-high grades, and extreme scarcity. Some 1964 Washington quarters were struck with proof dies, intended only for high-quality collector sets, but somehow ended up in general circulation. These coins have sharper details, deeper mirrors, and a distinct strike that separates them from the rest. Experts believe only a handful of these elusive quarters exist. Then there are those that come in perfect or near-perfect condition, graded MS-68 or higher. A condition so flawless it's nearly impossible for a coin that old. In major auctions, a 1964 Washington quarter in this rare condition has fetched as much as $83,750. Yes, you heard that right. More than $83,000 for a single quarter. Some even speculate that experimental planchets, coin blanks made from materials not intended for that year, were used accidentally, creating ultra-rare variations that continue to baffle experts and fuel bidding wars among collectors. These coins aren't just currency. They're relics, errors, and mysteries rolled into one. Imagine checking your change drawer and discovering you've been sitting on a rare 1964 quarter all along. It's not impossible, because some of these coins did circulate. They weren't all locked away in display cases or forgotten in mint archives. Some were spent, pocketed, saved, and passed from hand to hand until someone noticed something different. So how can you tell if your 1964 quarter might be valuable? Look for proof-like surfaces, deep mirror fields, frosted designs, or any unusual details. And most importantly, condition matters. The difference between a $5 coin and a five-figure coin often comes down to the tiniest nick or scratch. The 1964 Washington quarter stands as a symbol of a turning point in U.S. coinage, a time when silver was vanishing from circulation and the era of modern coin collecting was just beginning. One ordinary year. One extraordinary coin. This is the legend of the 1964 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that looks like every other, but might just be worth a fortune. Top 2. It's just a quarter. 25 cents. The kind you've probably tossed in a jar or slipped into a vending machine without a second thought. But what if this 1972 Washington quarter was worth $78,000? In this video, we're taking you deep into the world of U.S. coinage, where a single small error or rare condition can transform a pocket change coin into a legendary collector's treasure. This is the story of the 1972 Washington quarter dollar, one of the most valuable and rarest quarters ever to exist in U.S. history. The year 1972 wasn't supposed to be special for the quarter. Over 300 million quarters were minted that year, struck in copper-nickel clad rather than silver, just like every other regular issue coin since 1965. But among those millions, a tiny handful are anything but ordinary. What makes one of these quarters worth as much as $78,000? It starts with rarity, but not the kind you can spot at first glance. Some 1972 quarters are struck on experimental planchets, coin blanks that were never meant to be used. Others show incredible minting errors, like double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned dies that result in ghostly images, doubled letters, or distorted faces. These flaws, rare and nearly impossible to replicate, make them instant collectibles for high-end investors and die-hard numismatists. Then comes great. A 1972 quarter in MS68 or better, that's mint state, with nearly perfect surfaces, flawless luster, and no visible wear under magnification, is so rare that it sits on top of grading population reports like a ghost. Few survive the minting process in that condition, and even fewer stay preserved for over 5 decades. When one of these flawless or error-laden coins hits the auction block, the bidding gets fierce. In one record-setting auction, a pristine 1972 Washington quarter sold for a jaw-dropping $78,000, not for its age, not for its metal content, but for its near-mythical condition and extreme rarity. And here's the twist. These coins were never intended to be special. There were no commemorative designs, no silver planchets, no special releases. Just routine coins with extraordinary secrets. Could one of these be hiding in plain sight? Maybe it's in an old coin jar. Maybe it's been passed down through family change over the years. Maybe, just maybe, it's in your pocket right now. That's what makes the 1972 Washington quarter so fascinating. It's a reminder that hidden treasures still exist in everyday places. So what should you look for? Start with condition. A regular 1972 quarter in worn condition is worth face value. But if yours is uncirculated, near flawless, and shows unusual features, doubling, off-centering, or unexpected coloration, you could be holding something far more valuable than 25 cents. Collectors and grading experts look for deep strikes, clean fields, full rims, and even the tiniest of minting anomalies. These differences might seem invisible to the untrained eye, but for those who know what to look for, they're worth thousands. The 1972 Washington quarter proves that even in the modern era of U.S. coinage, there are still hidden gems, coins with stories, errors, and values that defy expectations. Point 1 year. One coin. One moment in minting history that turned a simple quarter into a $78,000 masterpiece. Check your pockets. Search your old jars. Because the next great numismatic legend could be closer than you think. Top 3. It's a year you've seen 100 times before. A coin you've probably held, spent, or tossed aside without thinking twice. But hidden in the sea of 1980 Washington quarters is one that changed everything. A coin that defied the odds, stunned collectors, and sold for a staggering $74,000. This is the untold story of the most valuable 1980 Washington quarter dollar in U.S. history. At first glance, it's nothing special. The design is familiar. George Washington's iconic profile on the obverse, the majestic eagle perched on the reverse. No silver, no commemorative mark, no fanfare. Just another copper-nickel quarter minted in a year that produced over 635 million of them. But among those hundreds of millions was a mistake. A rare anomaly. A perfect storm of error, condition, and mystery. Only a few select 1980 quarters have surfaced over the decades that defy every expectation. Coins struck with dramatic minting errors, using proof dies on business strike coins, or experimental planchets that were never meant to be used for circulation. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is power. And in the case of the 1980 Washington quarter, that power lies in the smallest details. A doubled die. A flawless surface. A misaligned strike. Or a planchet meant for another denomination entirely. Each of these rare traits can send the value of a common quarter skyrocketing, but when combined in a single coin, the result is nothing short of legendary. Point 1 such coin, graded MS68 with a known minting error, shocked the numismatic world when it crossed the auction block and sold for an astonishing $74,000. That's $74,000 for a piece of modern change. A coin struck just 4 decades ago, during a time most collectors assumed had little to offer in terms of true rarity. But that's the secret. Sometimes, the most valuable treasures aren't centuries old or cast in gold. They're modern, familiar, and overlooked by almost everyone. Imagine owning a piece of that history. Imagine finding one in your pocket, in your junk drawer, or tucked away in your childhood piggy bank. What makes the difference between a 25-cent piece and a $74,000 icon? It comes down to 3 things: condition, rarity, error. A flawless surface with no visible marks under magnification. A dramatic error, like an off-metal strike, or doubling on the date, lettering, or design. And a coin so rare, so unique, that even seasoned collectors might go their entire lives without seeing one in person, but that's what the most valuable 1980 Washington quarter represents. Not just a coin, but a once-in-a-generation mistake that became a masterpiece, that a symbol of how even the most routine object, something as simple as a quarter, can become a key to history when it slips through the cracks of the minting process. And here's the most exciting part. It's out there. Maybe in a collection, maybe in a safe, maybe sitting quietly in someone's change jar, waiting to be discovered. So the next time you pick up a 1980 quarter, don't just spend it. Look at it. Study it. Because the next $74,000 coin could be right in your hand. Top 4. It's the kind of coin you see every day. A 1990 Washington quarter, ordinary, common, worth 25 cents, or so it seems. But hidden among the millions, there exists one quarter from that year. So rare, so pristine, and so mysterious that it sold for a jaw-dropping $72,000. This is the story of the most valuable 1990 Washington quarter dollar in U.S. history. A story of perfection, error, and an extraordinary twist in modern American coinage. By 1990, the Washington quarter had long become a staple of U.S. currency. Minted in copper nickel clad, designed for everyday use, and struck by the millions. There were no special issues, no commemoratives, no silver content, just business as usual at the U.S. Mint. But sometimes, even in routine, the rarest mistakes are born. In the world of coin collecting, perfection is everything. An ordinary 1990 quarter with scratches, wear, or dings is worth its face value, 25 cents. But the coin we're talking about was no ordinary strike. This particular quarter was discovered to have a near-flawless surface, graded at an elite level. MS68 Plus, a mint state so rare that only a few coins from any year ever achieve it. Combine that with a rare minting anomaly, such as a die clash, a doubled die, or a coin struck on the wrong planchet, and you have a once-in-a-lifetime collectible. Experts believe this ultra-rare 1990 Washington quarter may have been struck using proof dies, intended only for collector sets, on a business strike planchet. That means the detail, the strike, the mirror-like finish, and the frosted appearance on the high points were never meant for public circulation. But somehow, this coin slipped through the cracks of mint quality control. The result? A coin so sharp, so brilliant, and so perfect that it stunned even the most experienced numismatists. When it went up for auction, collectors recognized its rarity immediately. The bidding was fierce, and when the hammer finally dropped, the price stunned the room. $72,000 for a single 1990 quarter. Why does a coin like this command such a high price? Because it's not just about age. It's about rarity, it's about mint condition, unexpected errors, and the sheer improbability that a coin like this could exist at all. That it's about being the only known example, or one of just a few, to survive in such pristine, untouched form. Now here's the real kicker. This coin was once thought to be worthless beyond face value. For years, it may have sat unnoticed, saved by chance, protected by habit, untouched by time. Until one day, someone looked closer. And that's what makes the 1990 Washington quarter dollar so special, that it's a reminder that not all treasures come in gold or ancient silver. Sometimes, they come in the form of a modern coin, quiet, unnoticed, but worth a fortune. Could there be more out there? Absolutely. With hundreds of millions of quarters minted that year, there's always a chance that another flawless, rare strike 1990 quarter is hiding in plain sight, in a drawer, in a roll of change, in a forgotten collection. So what should you look for? Start with condition. No scratches, no wear, strong luster. Look for errors, doubled letters, misaligned strikes, unusual weight or thickness. And if you think you've got something special, get it graded by a professional. Because what looks like pocket change could be a hidden jackpot. Point 1 year. 1 quarter. One incredible price. The 1990 Washington quarter. Proof that even in a world of mass production, true rarity can still shine through. $72,000. 1 coin. Could the next one be in your pocket? Subscribe for more hidden treasures in American coin history. Top 5. What if one of the most common coins in your pocket, a Washington quarter from 1992, wasn't worth just 25 cents? What if it was worth $66,000? Welcome to the incredible story of the most valuable and rarest 1992 Washington quarter dollar ever discovered. A coin that defied the odds, shocked collectors, and proved that even modern pocket change can hide a fortune. By 1992, the Washington quarter had been in circulation for 60 years. It was mass-produced, widely circulated, and used daily by millions of Americans. The design hadn't changed much. The materials were standard, copper-nickel clad, no silver, no special commemorative release. On the surface, nothing about the 1992 quarter seemed extraordinary. But what makes this particular coin worth $66,000? It all comes down to a perfect storm of three things: error, condition, scarcity. Some 1992 Washington quarters were struck on proof planchets, mirror-like coin blanks meant only for special collector coins. But somehow, these planchets were accidentally used to strike regular circulation quarters. These are known as proof planchet business strikes. They carry a strange and beautiful mix of qualities: the sharpness and mirrored fields of a proof coin, with the more worn-down, everyday appearance of a circulation strike. That alone would be enough to raise eyebrows among collectors. But then came one coin, graded MS-69, an almost impossible level of perfection for a coin that was never supposed to be special. No visible flaws. No scratches. Just crisp detail, full luster, and absolute brilliance. A coin so rare, so visually striking, and so perfectly preserved that it became the centerpiece of an elite coin auction. And when the gavel hit, it sold for a staggering $66,000. Let that sink in. A coin you've likely ignored 100 times, overlooked in spare change, or passed over in a parking meter, suddenly worth more than a luxury car. But that's the magic of minting anomalies. The hidden value lies not in the design, but in the unexpected. Could there be more like it? Absolutely. Coins like this don't always stand out at first glance. That's the danger and the opportunity. Many of these ultra-rare pieces go unnoticed for decades, sitting quietly in old collections, rolls of quarters, forgotten jars, or dusty drawers. What should you look for? Start with sharp detail. Every feather on the eagle, every hair strand on Washington's head. Look for proof-like surfaces, deep mirrors, frosted designs. Feel for unusual weight or thickness. Check for errors like doubling on the date, letters, or mint marks. And most importantly, find coins that are in near-perfect condition. Even the slightest scratch or wear can slash the value. But a flawless strike? That could mean tens of thousands of dollars. The 1992 Washington quarter is a reminder that rarity isn't always old. Sometimes it's recent, modern. Right in front of us, one small coin, one massive payday, and a whole lot of mystery behind how a seemingly regular quarter turned into a $66,000 collector's dream. Check your pockets. Dig through your change jar. The next great American coin treasure could be hiding in plain sight.